Welcome to another speed training. It's been a very busy month for Vodia. I would say for everyone, at least I would say in the VoIP space. So today's topic is hunt groups. Sorry if my voice is a little bit raspy. So hunt groups. What are they useful for? They ring multiple extensions in order to find somebody who can take a call. This is useful for low call volumes. If you have multiple people who can answer the call, um, in a help center, for example, incoming calls are sent immediately to extensions, even if it causes call waiting, and for that extension to be called. So, a few things about ring groups. Ring groups are multi-stage uh, stages of ringing. For each stage, you can have multiple extensions, or you can have a number. You can put a PSTN number in any of the stages, as long as you put a duration. Um, that will be so. If you press here, for example, if you let's set it to 0, or let's say you don't put anything, um, and the functionality will not work. You need to put a number in here in order for the inbound call to work correctly. Another thing about hunt groups is the identification. You could have multiple agents um, and multiple hunt groups that can answer calls in different manners. So, for example, the name of the group is dental office. You can have another group that is human resources. You can have multiple groups on, if you have a sales queue, you can use a ring group rather, for those topics. But the thing is that hunt groups, I've seen, I've seen deployments where people will add 20 to 30 extensions in the stage, which I don't really recommend that when you're running the phone system. You have to be a little bit reasonable uh, when you're deploying um, an account like a ring group. So ring groups is kind of like a soft, um, it's kind of like a soft call queue. It gives you the tools you need, just the right tools you need to get the job done. Um, so on hunt group identification, we have something called from header. Here you can choose um, the group name or the calling name or the number coming into the system. So that'll help your agents um, some more information on how to answer a call when inbound call is coming in. Um, so let's quickly create a ring group. So in your accounts, left-hand corner, you have ring groups, and here you have account number. So account number can be any number. Let's choose 500. This can also be a phone number. So you can doesn't have to be a traditional number or extension number, but if you want to add a PSTN number, you can do so as well. And if you want to add a DID to it, just do a semicolon, and you can put a number like this. So you can see the DID is added. You can add the group name. So let's do this as typical sales. And then my ANI is the same as my DID number. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go to my extension 777 and remove this DID that I have programmed onto it. And I'm going to just transfer it to the sales. Just like that. You can easily move the IDs around, which is cool. And I'm just going to copy the number same and put a here. Let me just move this screen here. All right. So now I have my outbound ANI. Okay, so now I want to add extensions on each of the stages. So currently I have a SNOM phone registered to extension 407, and I'm going to put a duration of 10 seconds. And then I have another registered phone for 1003, and I'm going to add this for 10 seconds as well. And about the missed calls, these calls are missed for any reason, you can set this flag on, and we'll be able to send you an email for any reason why that call or calls were missed on the system. And then the third stage is kind of overkill, so I'm just gonna use the final stage and choose 1000, and this is my general mailbox. So I'm gonna save this, and I'm going to go to my general mailbox account. So another thing which is cool about Vodia is that you have a feature set. So you can use this account with different applications. So here I'm going to choose mailbox only and then save, and then go straight to mailbox. I can just set a default value here, which is, I think, is just 5 seconds. And then below, I can say copy new messages into the following mailboxes: 4007, 4008. These will receive the messages. They can delete it without affecting the original one. Now, let's say you just want to delete the original one, you can just use make messages available following mailboxes. And then if it's read, delete the copies. So you can say yes, or you can say no. But if it's deleted by any of the two users, that will be deleted for everyone else. So let's save that. And then next, let's just go back to the ring group. So we have set our final stage and default algorithm. I can select the most idle per stage. So Vodia is smart enough to know which of the two agents are not taking their calls, and Vodia will choose and send that call to that user. If you set that, or you can just set it to default. And then the ring melody, another great feature that Vodia has. This makes it so that you can, or the agent can tell the difference between the groups that have different ring melody. So that's useful for them. For it's kind of an audible feature. Then you have dial plan for outbound calls. This is set by default. If you have many, you can choose the dial plan you want. Let's say I want to send a call out. Let's say I want to send it to an outbound center. So calling in, we'll ring these for 10 seconds and then ring 1-800-444-44 for 10 seconds. And if nothing happens, it will go to a final stage. A few more things about the ring group. We do have a paging incoming call feature, and you can choose your paging account here. And this paging account is mapped to a registered paging account that has, for example, cyber data unit. So that's the whole gist of it. Call comes in, Vodia will send the call to the paging, and then everybody in the factory floor will hear the incoming call and pick it up to the nearest phone near the agents, for example. Send CDRs. Here you can say manager, and I'm just going to put my email. Now that'll be sent to this email, so you'll get daily CDRs reports. I usually get my reports around 7 o'clock when everything's mellowed out, and that's by default, I believe. But if you want to send CDRs based on time, you can just enter when you want the CDR. So let's say Friday at 18:30, I want all my CDR reports. Missed calls, same thing. Just copy paste that here. So then you'll get your missed calls. You have your music on hold. You can choose if you have any uploaded. You can choose the jazz. And so when an agent puts a caller on hold, that's what they will hear. Recording, that depends if it's on the system level, it will record, or on the domain level, under settings. If you have this on, it will record the incoming calls. Cell phone forking is turned off by default. You can turn it on if agents have any cell phones paired to their extensions. And then follow redirect all settings. That takes precedence on the extensions redirection setting. So we will honor that if you turn that on. We can also connect to an action URL so that if you're running some application, we can send some information of that call to the user or the application you're using. Enable call pickup from extension BLF, another great feature. You can just pick up the call from there. If that is set, you can just turn it on. And then allow agents to divert calls, basically forwarding that inbound call coming to the group. Another great feature. And you can also have a CRM account to the Hunt group. So, for example, my two users, 4007 and 8, can have a CRM account. We'll put another one here. So their CRM account will pop up based on the PBX inbound call routing, and they can pick up their call in their favorite CRM, like Zoho, for example. And then redirect suspected spam calls. You can send this anywhere on the system or to an IVR node, sending some information. And this is dependent on the system itself. If you have anonymous calls, for example, usually it's set to 100. You can set it to, let's say, 50. That call will go through. It is a suspected spam call, and we will send it somewhere on the system or to a node or to wherever you want. It doesn't matter. And then redirection. So if the flag is active, I can say choose one of my accounts. This is my 9 to 5. And then my night service number usually will go to a general mailbox. So a few things about that. If you have a message on the general mailbox saying you've reached this, la 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 la, you can do that. But if you don't have a greeting, you can just press 8, and then you can set the extension here, and that'll send it straight to voicemail. And I'm pretty sure everyone here knows how to do that. So if I call into the system, I believe this is a DID from bandwidth. Let's see if it's programmed right. Everything should ring. All right. So I'm just going to mute that. If I go to my status, active calls, I can see this numbers is reaching. And now it's going to redirect to the number I put. All right. So we have, all right, there it is. So it's calling out. I can see my cell phone still. Okay, it's connected. All right. So good. It did what it did. Perfect. And now, so let's see if I go back to my ring group. Let's see. So for this one, I don't have the recording, but I could turn it on if I want. Oh, it is on. Okay, record. Well, no one picked up the call anyway. So if we just say something like this. All right, so this call should be connected. It's an active call. Okay, and then let me just. So here's my recorded call. So it's probably just air. And then some notes. Incoming call, let's say sales issue with la 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 la. Don't quote me on that. And save. So that's pretty much it, guys. The call queue was another topic we spoke about a few months ago. Ring groups is pretty much a simple broken down call queue account and can be used for many applications. One application is your phones, for example. You want to pick up multiple calls on this group, but how do you handle it? So you're on a call, you pick it up, another call comes in, could be ringing, goes through the duration, and then goes to voicemail. So that is just a simple setup for a small army of 4 or 5 or even 10 for the application of a ring group. So just I'm going to go through some of the questions on the right-hand side. Could you add your own music on hold? Yep, that should be possible under settings, music on hold, and just click add. So Bharat, just a few things about adding your music on hold. Vodia has also a granular way to handle even a music on hold file. So for the type, you can choose from the 3 options we have. You can control the volume and the position of the song. So you can play it from the beginning or remember the last position or whatever we cached last. If you wanted to get a little bit more granular, you can also tell the phone system that it can redirect calls to other parts of the system. And if you do that, you have to make sure, obviously, that whatever you're announcing, that the caller knows that they can enter these options as well. So yeah, it's possible. Enable call pickup. Does that mean you can create ring group on button phone that uses answer group, even if the extension is part of the? Yeah, that's correct. That's the whole point. You can pick up the call. There's also if we can check maybe permissions if you can pick up those calls. But just to be clear, if you don't set anything in the permissions where you can see I do have a lot of permissions stuff set here, you still might have to go into the group permission here and choose BLF view and pickup so that user can pick up the phone. And this is a general feature and it should be on. But if you want some control, the groups is where you will go first and then you can test the feature. So let's just go back. So to answer your question, David, yeah, you can pick up the call even if you're not part of the group. Also, the E-Link handset handing and adding is an issue. Okay, I'm not sure about that, but just send it to support@vodia.com. We can discuss that there. Do we need to add 1,000 in the final stage from Rashid? That's debatable. I mean, you can send it to the final stage and it can ring for a few seconds. So let's say, for example, the general mailbox here has a mailbox of, pick it up after 10 seconds. It'll pretend and ring for 10 seconds and then go into its mailbox. So, it depends. If you say 1,000, then we would just send it straight to the mailbox and then stay in the story. Make sure you have a greeting set. Put a file at least so that's not so dry I mean, our stuff sounds great, but you can also set up your own greeting and make it sound really professional. Is there a limit of incoming calls? No, there's no limit. We don't set any limits by default. However, you can set limits in under lists and edit. So you can say maximum number of ring groups. No, sorry. Maximum number of calls. You can control that if you want. Calls coming in. But yeah, we don't control. You can set as many as you want. If you're brave enough, obviously, don't overdo it. Basically, if you want your phone system to work in optimal situations, you don't tax it by adding 30 agents in stage one or stage two. Be reasonable because the system still needs to process other things as well. So that should answer your question. WAV file, MPV, WAV file, of course, for the phone system. And any update on CRM connectivity, like Sugar CRM? I think we have. I'm not sure if we have something with Sugar CRM. We have other ones that work with Vodia. I think we did dabble in Sugar CRM at some point. I would do, Barrett, I would just do a quick search for Vodia phone system, CRM, or Sugar CRM and see if something comes up. If nothing comes up, obviously we don't have it, or just check our documentation page because we have a lot of stuff in there as well. And another thing I would like to bring up is when you are surfing the phone system to make changes, when you, for example, click one of our question marks, it will go to our documentation. And there's a lot of confusion here in the documentation, how it works, because you really want to know about the feature or the setting that you're looking for. And we do go through the whole setting because we're a very granular phone system. But on your right-hand side, we have something called table of contents. And here you can skip to the setting you're looking for. I know it's kind of doesn't seem that it's kind of vague on the side, doesn't pop out, but you can click on here and just go directly to the setting that you're looking for, rather than just scrolling or doing a control F. Just wanted to share that because a lot of people get confused when they click on the question mark and they really want to get to the setting that they need to go. So just I wanted to show you that. So let me go back to the phone system. All right, and another question from Barat. The mobile app is still cracky. Do you prefer another app to be used? Well, that depends. What does cracky mean? There's a lot of factors to what you're describing. There's also network connectivity. Your network provider, your agents who are remote, their network. There's a lot of factors to that. You probably get the same result with full Zoiper or Bria if you are having these type of issues. But besides the app, Barrett, are we talking Android or iPhone? And what does cracking mean? You're an Android, okay, and you have 5G. Okay, there should be no cracking whatsoever. But what is cracking? A crackling voice? Is it visible for all the tenants? It's not receiving phone contacts. Okay. For me, this means that the inbound call is not even reaching the Android now, is what you're saying. Okay. Well, Barra, I think it's best if you do have a ticket, send it to support@vodia.com, and we can look at these issues. Uh, every issue that the phone system might have is individual, obviously, and we should just do this on a support level. We greatly appreciate that. Are there any other questions? New version is found below here, 6809 beta. I would recommend to run this in your sandbox before going live with it. Um, in fact, if you upgrade now to in your sandbox, you'll have the latest settings and new features on the phone system. Um, Martin, is it possible? Text MOH before ring group? You mean send us SMS to the agents before the call hits the group? I'm not sure I understand. Thank you, Ludovic. True. um, no, like ringing sound. Well, yeah. I will try to understand what you're saying, but I think what you mean, or maybe, possibly, what you mean is you could use something here, paging incoming calls. Oh, a welcome sound. Oh, okay. Welcome sound for who? For the agent or for the for the inbound call? Like for example, obviously some or many deployments have the calls coming into an auto attendant. So if you wanted to do something there, you could upload something, or you can even use the IVR account. You can upload a sound here, and then after the sound is done, you can tell by using the DTF match list to send the call to a hunt group, and it'll do just that. So you could do something here with the IVR. So if you have a message to say before they go into the group, this is your best bet here, because the auto attendant is way too granular, and I don't recommend that using that for that. I mean, you could use a timeout, but then you have to time your message just right, and you'll probably have a little delay, but it'll time out. We have the documentation on IVR node, and just for anything Vodia centric, just type in Vodia IVR node, and you'll see a bunch of articles, blog, possibly videos. That'll be your best bet, because the IVR is, I mean, it's a very, though it's a small account, it's very granular as well. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up today. Thank you for joining me on this session. This will be available on YouTube as well, and then I hope that this kind of breaks down the barrier on how to use a ring group on the Vodia phone system. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next month. Thank you.